This is the OMFL.
You can't touch this.
And you're in the mix with Kinda Real Nate. Here's another OMFL production.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Press Pass Live, your weekly podcast show here in the OMFL. I got to apologize. Looks like we hit a little lag right as we got going here and start dropping some frames. So my apology if the intro came out a little laggy. I'm not quite sure why it would have done that, but it is what it is. But we are live now and we are ready to go. So I am your founder, commissioner of the OMFL and the Grown Folks Online Community, Kinda Real Nate. And my buddy with me, Mr. DWayne. How you doing today on a Friday afternoon?
It's pretty good. It's kind of chilly outside, but it's not too cold to get out and handle some stuff on my day off. So I really can't complain. It's been a good day.
It did get a little chilly even here in the deep south, but it feels good. I'm glad that winter has finally decided to show up. Let's just jump right into it. Our other buds couldn't be with us today. Maniac's got Friday night football, and Mr. Dawson is married, and so his wife's got him running around doing all kinds of stuff with her, and so we're just going to jump in, knock out a show because I have to leave this weekend, and we wanted to make sure that we got you out a show. So I think last time, I think we're in week 6, and so I think we went up to week 4 last time, so we have weeks 5. And that can't be right. I think we went up to week 3. So we have weeks 4, 5, and a little bit of 6. Most of 6 is played. What is your game that sticks out to you? What week and what game?
If I'm not mistaken, it's week 5, and like I said, I might be picking an easy one here to go after. But it was the 49ers Seahawks game. If I could be, it's either almost certain.
Oh no, I think that's. Hold on, let me look. No, that's week 6, because I think I watched that game last night because the 49ers played the Falcons in week 5. So it was a week 6 game.
Well, I can go over this one if you want, or I can swing with another one.
Wait, hold on. Now I'm all confused because I know it was on there and I can't find it. Where are we at? Okay, it's got to be week 6.
It was this week.
No, let's cover it then because it was a fantastic game. There it is.
Well, if you look over some of it, we've talked about, and even Mo has said that the 49ers have dominated him this cycle. This game right here makes it 4-0. 49ers over the Seahawks starting this cycle, and I think that surprises a lot of us. I think Mo has kind of been in and out a little bit, but Mo, his team, of course, just whips people when he's gone, but he really whips people when he's here. And if you look at some of the stats, like I said, to the passing yards, 49ers just dominated the passing, 316 yards compared to 153 by the Seahawks. Rushing game, complete opposite. Seahawks ran for 210 yards. 49ers ran for 106, which is a good game for most people. Third down, Seahawks were 67%. 49ers were 50%. Telltale here, 5 penalties for the Seahawks, 1 to the 49ers, and 3 turnovers for the Seahawks, and none for the 49ers. And I think that would tell you a lot right there. Like I said, Russell Wilson has 150 yards, 2 touchdowns, but throws 2 costly interceptions. Penny has 134 yards on about 8 yards a carry. Wilson has 65 yards running himself. Muhammad has 11. You go down now. He was missing Lockett this week, so you can see his disparity passing the ball was a lot different. He had 4 guys with 2 catches, with Disley and Tate having a touchdown each. And what really shocks you if you just look at the box score right here is the Seahawks have no sacks this game.
Yeah.
It does have
and
2
the 49ers only had 1.
And the 49ers only have 1. They do have 2 forced fumbles from the Griffin brothers. But like I said, it just wasn't enough. Of course, he forced the fumbles. He didn't get any of them because the 49ers didn't have any turnovers. You go to Garoppolo, had 17 for 30 for 316, a touchdown, a very efficient game, especially down the field. As you can tell, he's averaging about 10 plus yards an attempt. and about 20 yards per reception. He didn't run the ball just deceptively well, as I think 49ers are leading the league this year in running. He did have 100 yards, but he was averaging like 190 yards a game coming into this game. Seahawks did a really good job limiting this. Ajayi had 44 yards on about 2.5 yards per carry. Breida had 40 yards on 8 carry. McKinnon had 16 on 1 carry. Then you go to, the receiving game for the 49ers. It was a lot different from the Seahawks. Goodwin had 8 catches for almost 200 yards and a touchdown. Kittle had 71 yards. Curse had 28. He really went to Goodwin and Kittle, the exact opposite of what the Seahawks did when they spread the ball around the way they did. Goodwin was hot and Kittle was hot, and he force-fed them. Or I say force-fed them. He just got them the ball all game. Harold had your 1 sack. Colbert and Sutton had your interceptions. And Harold and Warner had your forced fumbles. This game just interested me because this is playoff implications, even at this early in the season.
Yeah.
These guys know that each one of their games matters because these guys, I hate to write stuff on the wall when it's not ready to be written on yet. But both these teams are nearly playoff locks. One of them's going to be a playoff lock. I hate to say that every year, but both these teams could very easily every season be in the playoffs against each other. And to get a big win like this is big for Big Hurt. I think his confidence doesn't need any help right now. And that's not a shot at you, Big Hurt. You've just been on such a roll that your confidence has to be out the roof right now. And a confident Big Hurt is a scary Big Hurt because he's not scared to play like Big Hurt. And to see the Seahawks drop this game, I'm sure Mo will, re-engineer, go back and watch some of this and find out what he can do. And I think it's pretty simple. Don't turn the ball over. I mean, you have 200 yards rushing, run that ball all day long. Take care of the ball, and I think you see a different outcome here. But you can't take nothing away. Big Hurt starting the season 5-0 after his first OMFL championship. He's just got the train rolling. It don't look like it's stopping anytime soon.
Yeah, this was a weird game to watch. The 49ers have become the new Seattle Seahawks with the championship and now off to a 5-0 start. The Seahawks played a very anti-Mo game. They did run the ball very well, but turning the ball over is not usually his thing. He made some weird throws that game. It was I'm going to actually go back and study that game probably today just because I play both of these guys. And so I'm going to get some good notes and watch one game and knock out 2 birds with 1 stone. But, excuse me, it was a weird game to watch. The Seahawks looked out of sync. They didn't look like themselves. The 1 sack total in this game was weird. Guys want to blame the sliders, but look, teams are getting sacks. Like this happens, right? And both of these offensive lines clearly dominated, and it's weird to see the Seahawks turn the ball over that many times. It's just not something that you see, and the 49ers are in firm control of the NFC, and it's going to make for a good battle as we kind of go down to the wire here. The game I want to talk about is the 28-30 victory for the Buccaneers over the Carolina Panthers. Also happened this week. Now, there was a little controversy around the Buccaneers. Their quarterback has been suspended for the rest of the season, so Teddy Bridgewater is in there. And Teddy had a really fantastic game, and somehow the Tampa Bay Buccaneers really battled this out. The Carolina Panthers were 3-0. I think, I may be wrong on that, but I think they were 3-0, and they've now went on a 3-game skid here. I hate this new layout for Daddy Leagues. I know I've complained about that more than once, but I still hate it. Cam Newton really struggled on the day. 2 touchdowns, but 2 interceptions, 18 of 28. Teddy Bridgewater, 16 of 24, 224 yards, but the 3 touchdowns and no interceptions. The Buccaneers found that running game again, 19 for 119. Teddy even threw in 6 for 26. That's really good, a long of 20 there. Now I'm starting to look at this and wonder if this was a sim. Was this a sim game?
I don't believe it was.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it can't be a sim game because we're still in it. Well, all right, Maniac, we bumped up against that 80-20 rule. Maybe you might have barely got underneath it, but love to see a couple more carries there for those backup running backs. That's why I paused there. And even looking over at the Panthers side, I mean, his backup, a bunch of backups got it, but 2 of them were receivers. Just weird. It's just weird. These are weird-looking stats, and it kind of explains why this was a weird game. Doucette, 6 receptions for 106 yards and a touchdown. Moore really continues his hot streak, 9 receptions, 132 yards, 2 touchdowns with a long of 39. The 2 interceptions from Alexander and Hartgraves, the 1 sack from Addison. Only 2 sacks from the Tampa Bay Bucs, 1 from Villa and 1 from Smith. But the Buccaneers, this was a big win as they try to stay in the hunt there in the NFC South. But a really good game from both of them, and will be a fun battle as we continue to get late in the season when we see some of these NFC South battles really start to heat up. The Falcons are very much still in control. We'll talk about buy or sell all of the division leaders here in just a second, but I still think that this is going to be the Falcons' division, and the Buccaneers are definitely making everyone aware that though they may have looked dead, they are very much alive and very much have an opportunity to win this division. Let's take it to a little buy or sell like I just brought up. Let's talk about buying or selling the division leaders. I mean, we're still pretty early in the season, only in week 6. We should be in week 7 here in the next couple of days. So we're going to buy or sell one by one all of these different division leaders. We'll quick fire them. And let's go ahead and just get it out of the way. Saints are your first division leader. We're going to go NFC South and go on up. 4-0-1. Are you buying or selling my Saints?
Well, like I said, I've watched a couple games. I hate to keep throwing this in your face, Nate, but you should be 5-0. But I have to buy it right now because, like I said, the only team that's played, I'd have to pull up your schedule real fast. But
It's
I know
tough.
The Bucs game, you almost pulled that one out. You still ended a tie, which is better than a loss. But you've had some close games this season. You talk about you beat the Giants by a point, you beat the Falcons by 4, you beat the Titans by 6, and then you beat a Texans team by 13, who's a really, really solid team, and now you're into your bye week. I think those games, playing well, I think you have to win those close games. I think it just says a lot. It's easy for a team to get up, 20, 25 points and just coast. But to pull out close games like that, like I always say, you got to win the games you're supposed to win. And hope you win some of the games that are 50-50 games up in the air. And so far, you're pulling those out. And I think that speaks volumes. Even with the Bucs, Panthers, and Falcons behind you, the Falcons, they're struggling as really big, just befuddled me right now. I'm not sure what's going on in Atlanta, but the Panthers are kind of a skid, if I'm not mistaken. They've lost 2 games in a row. And the Bucs are trying to hang in there with Teddy Bridgewater as their quarterback. I'm not completely sold on them yet. But I will say I'm buying the Saints for the NFC South right now. I think with the other 3 teams kind of in limbo of what they got going on. The Panthers have been buy all year.
Yeah.
They've tried to pick up some veterans. They've traded away a little of their future to win right now, and they've lost 2 games since they've, kind of start went into buy mode. And with DJ Moore, you got to ask yourself, is he enough to propel that team to an NFC South championship? I think Panthers and Bucs, right now the Falcons got to show me something. Panthers and Bucs are going to fight for that second spot. But right now I'm going to have to buy the Saints as the leader. The defense has been phenomenal, giving up 16 points a game. The offense is averaging 21 points a game, which is going to win you games when you're only giving up, a little over 2 touchdowns a game. I'm going to have to buy the Saints right now for the NFC South.
Yeah, I'm not going to buy or sell myself. I will say this, the schedule is pathetic. It is so tough as soon as this bye week is all over. I did lose my number 1 wide receiver for the next 6 weeks with a dislocated knee. Next 5 weeks, because this first week is a bye week. The rookie is playing spectacular football. Breeze is turning the ball over too much. I've tried to be smarter, really try to go into DWayne mode. It looks like I found a running game with Hill and with Kamara. They both are averaging really well. I think both are over 4.5 yards a carry, and so I just need to stick with it. I'm a passer and wide receiver at heart, and so I have to get back to that. It's going to be a tough road, though, and there is a lot of football left to play, so we'll see how that all plays out. I will say my defense is the truth right now, and they are playing like it with the interceptions. We actually got some sacks last game. And that run-stop game is playing superb. So we'll see how it plays out. Let's go to the NFC North. The Lions. Are you buying or selling the Lions as your division leader right now?
Well, if you look at that division, it's so wide open, especially with the Bears getting smashed over there. We all know that Smash is a great owner, and he'll add some intrigue to that division. But 0-0, man, he's been on a roll.
Yeah.
This last season, rolling this season. He's carried himself well. He is on a, he did just lose the game. But if you look over his stats right here, he's on a team that's averaging 22 points a game, giving up 18. His offense is nothing just spectacular. He's kind of middle of the road in most offensive categories. And I think he would tell you that himself, that that's where he needs to pick up at. But his defense speaks. He's sixth in the league in rush defense. He's 12th in pass defense. I just think you got a solid team here. I think he's confident, which I think we've all said before. If DBL is confident and he plays with confidence, it speaks volumes. If you go through, he lost the Packers in week 1 by 6. He beat the Bears by 7. He beat Dawson by 17 points. He beat the Eagles by 6. He lost a tight one today against the Chiefs. I think as long as he keeps his head up and stays confident in his team, I think this is his division to lose. I think the Vikings and Packers are going to breathe right down his neck because, like I said, the Packers have already beat him once this season. This division's a long way from over with. I buy DBL as a NFC North contender just for the fact I think he's got the talent there, and I think that his scheme that he plays is built to win, especially if he takes care of the ball. But the Vikings and Packers, and you can't count the Bears, going to be breathing right down his neck for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I think the Bears really shake that up. They have a tremendous defense that Outlaw had built there, and now you're bringing Smash's offensive fireworks over to the Chicago Bears. That team really changes this. I'm going to buy the Lions, but I'd like to buy them on layaway if I can, just so that I can return them because I don't know that the loss to the Chiefs is what gives me pause, but the Vikings are no better. They're very much an up-and-down team. The Packers have not had me trust them in years. I do think the Bears are going to give them a run for their money. But look, the Lions won it last year. He's in the lead right now. It's just that loss to the Chiefs just goes to show, like, often he can be inconsistent. And that really goes for the entire NFC North. Now, it's not really fair to Smash and his Bears, but I think Smash showed with the Chargers that inconsistency there. And so I think that inconsistency may come with him to Chicago. I like the Lions, but on layaway because I think that's a super inconsistent division there. Let's go to the NFC West. Now, we were just talking about them, but the 49ers, 5-0. They are your OMFL Bowl 80, Season 80 champions. Are you buying or selling the 49ers?
I'm going to have to buy. I think he made a statement this week beating the Seahawks. Yeah. I think the Cardinals are still trying to revamp. I think they're with the new owner. I think he's going to put his own game style in place. The Rams are still trying to figure things out. He is on the brink of breaking through. He's right there. It just doesn't help in your division with the Seahawks and 49ers. Man, I don't know of a tougher way to I hate to say break in with the Rams with those two teams in here. And the Seahawks, as good as they've been playing, we know that I think 2 of the 3 wins are with the computer, but we can't discount Mo. We know Mo is another team, like I said earlier, who if he doesn't win that division, he'll be a wild card team. And I don't care what Mo tells y'all and his 72 overall team tells y'all, Mo will be knocking the door of a wild card spot. And I say wild card spot because I'm going to say now I think the 49ers will win this division. Until Mo, I hate to bring back the past like this, and we've always said that. For a long time, I used to think that what held Mo back was Ducks. Ducks seemed like he had Mo's number in the playoffs every year. It was almost like how Mo had me the last couple seasons. Yeah. It's just I couldn't ever get over that hump. Get close, can't get over the hump. Well, right now, Mo's got to get over that hump, and I know it's hard to say that about a 4-time champion, 4-time in a row champion, that he got to go over a hump. But right now, he's got to get over that Big Hurt hump. And until he does, this is Big Hurt's division. Big Hurt has the number 1 rushing team in the OMFL. He is ranked on the bottom in passing, but when you run for 170 yards a game, you don't have to pass the ball very much. Yeah. His defense is pretty good all across the board. He does give up 98 yards a game rushing, which is kind of deceptive knowing that he's blew some people out this year. But to me, it might speak volumes of I think he does get a little more lax. When I say lax, he really doesn't want you to just get those quick, easy points when he does get a lead. I think he's willing to give you 6-7 yards a run to burn some clock. He's got a good defense. He's got a good offense. He's firing on all cylinders. He doesn't turn the ball over. That was Big Hurt's thing back even when he had the Cowboys and when he had the Colts. He was prone to start turning the ball over because he would get offensive happy. But when you can run the ball for 170 yards a game, like I said, you don't have to pass the ball. You limit your turnovers. And right now it's paying off. He's just on a roll. I don't want to sound like I'm completely on the 49ers bandwagon, but man, he's playing great football right now. And I don't think you can take that away from him. And until, Mo gets over that hump in that division, it's the 49ers, and I'm going to have to buy them. Yeah,
I got to buy the 49ers. I think you'd be out of your mind to not buy the 49ers. They are just playing tremendous football, and I got to be honest, I've had a hard time understanding why. Even watching the OMFL Bowl 80, I couldn't quite put my finger on it. I was hoping to get some answers this week as I watched that game. I was doing other things, so I got to go back and watch the film, but he just does it so casually. That defense is playing really good football. He just seems to make the plays, and he seems to be calling the right plays at the right time right now, and that team is in firm control, and that was a statement win. Not that the Super Bowl defending champion needs a statement win, but it definitely was a statement win for the new season. It's a new team. It's a new everything. The 49ers definitely made a statement win, and they're in firm control of not only the West, but really the entire NFC. So that's going to bring us to the NFC East. You got the Cowboys at 6-0. Are you buying and selling the Cowboys, your actual real-life favorite team? Are you buying or selling the Cowboys as the NFC East division leaders?
Let's just say I wish the real-life Cowboys played like Massimo's Cowboys did this season, because his offense is phenomenal this year. He's averaging 31 points a game. He's second in total yards. He's third in rushing yards. His defenses did really good. He does give up a lot of yards passing, which speaks volumes. So he's been ahead all season. But he is second in rush defense. He's only getting up 52 yards a game rushing. That's phenomenal. I think it's hard to look past the Cowboys. Like I said, you got a 12-point differential, 31-4, 19 against. He's 3-0 at home, 3 at home on the road. He's got a 70-point differential on the season. Man, I honestly don't think the Redskins, I think, can knock on the door. I think Giants, I think Pepper's in his own head right now. I think Pepper has the talent to compete for that division, and he has the skills to compete for that division. The only thing standing in Pepper's way is Pepper.
Yeah.
And the Eagles with a new owner, it'll be interesting to see where they go from that. They have a lot of talent on that team, a team that was built out of the box to compete, and for 2 straight seasons, they haven't competed very well. So it ought to be interesting to see about that one. The Redskins, Dawson's, hey, that's my guy. He's been back and forth. He's almost more like the real life Cowboy. Win one, lose one. He's still trying to figure out what he's got going on there. But he does play with a recipe for success, and he does try to take care of the ball. And he's close. And I think he's knocking the door at the Cowboys. But the only way the Cowboys lose this division is if Massimo just falls apart, because his Cowboys are clicking right now. He's got a rookie quarterback who's playing like a stud. He's got one of the best running backs in the league. Defensively, he's shutting down people. I think I'm going to have to buy the Cowboys right now. The only person that can catch him right now is the Redskins. And I just don't know if the Redskins have the firepower to match up with Massimo and his Cowboys right now. Like I said, they're firing all cylinders. I don't want to put all my stock in them just yet, because we've seen Massimo lose a game and it snowball. And so I don't want to buy him 100% just yet, because, I mean, you have at least two owners that I know with the Redskins and Giants. No disrespect to the Eagles, but I know for a fact the Giants and Redskins can turn it on. And I've seen, Pepper can win 10 games in a row right here and finish 11-5. He has that skill. He has that mentality once he starts winning. But until these teams prove me wrong, the Cowboys are your division. And kind of like you said earlier about a layaway option on the Cowboys, I'm just not ready to sell on them 100% yet. And that's no disrespect to a 6-0 team. I know that sounds so funny to say that, but man, you got some good owners in that division. So I'm going to have to just lay away the Cowboys just for now.
Yeah, I think at 6-0, you have to buy them. You've named all the stats as to why the 70-point differential, the 31 points for, the 19 against. He's playing really great defense. I watched some of his early games. I haven't seen some of these lately, but he's just pouring it on people. Now, Massimo has always been a good player. He's had a couple of rough seasons, right? But, I mean, he used to be right there winning the division with the Texans back in the day. He's a very good player, and the Cowboys are for real. And as close as the other divisions seem, the West and the East both seem over already, which is really hard to say. I think the Redskins and Seahawks are both good teams. Of course, we know what the Seahawks are, and they still have an opportunity, but just some statement wins for both the Cowboys and the 49ers. I'm buying the Cowboys. They seem to have it all together. I think they're playing with a rookie quarterback. He's playing superb. They got the run game going. They're playing really good defense. They're turning teams over. He's just blowing people out left and right. And I am buying the Dallas Cowboys in the NFC East. I think they definitely are going to be one of the top teams to beat. And maybe we'll get an old-fashioned classic Cowboys-49ers rematch in the NFC. Let's move over to the AFC, and we're going to talk about your division, the AFC South. You got the Colts at 6-0. The Jaguars nipping on their tails, but I'm going to go first, and then you can do whatever you want. I'm going to buy the Colts 6-0. DWayne has always been one of our top players since day one of joining here. Just plays the most boringest style of football, the most predictable style of football, and you cannot stop it. He's going to run on you. He's going to be extremely efficient with his passes. He's never going to turn the ball over. He's going to cause you into 2 or 3 turnovers. He's going to turn those things into points. He's going to eat the entire clock, and before you know it, you're going to be middle of the fourth quarter, down by 16, having to push the ball down the field, having to make something happen, go 4 wides, go no huddle, do all kinds of craziness. He's going to pick you off again. The game's going to be over. 31 points for, 19 points against, 67-point differential, 6-0, blowing people out. Yes, the Jaguars are nipping on their tails, but I don't trust the Jaguars any more than I trust a politician. Give me the Colts. I am buying them twice on Sundays at 6-0. You do what you want here. You can buy or sell your own team. That's totally up to you, but what are your feelings on your Colts?
I will say this. I think Brady is playing really strong this year. I think he has a really good chance to make. I think this could be his year. He makes a push. He is playing some of the best defense in the OMFL. He's only giving up 14 points a game. He's playing his standard, really great defense. Offensively, he hasn't. I mean, he's averaging 24 points a game, but he's had some really down games where he did not score a whole lot. And then you got the Titans with the new owner, which I played today, who's going to be a solid owner in this division. And the Texans have really disappointed me. And UNLV knows that how much I'm a fan of him. I like him as an owner. I like him being my rival. He's really shocked me. He came out of the gates after he played so strong last season. He came out and went 1-4. It kind of reminds me a lot of the Falcons. I'm not really sure what's going on. I think that, I always tell you, you got to win the games you're supposed to win, and you got to hope that you win, some of the 50-50 games. Well, the 50-50 games aren't going his way right now. But when it comes down to my Colts, I will say even at 6-0, I've had some really, really close games this year, and I'm not as confident in my team, and I know that Nate will laugh when I say that at 6-0. I just hadn't ran the ball. I think last 4 weeks, I've averaged about 75 to 80 yards a game rushing. I have not ran the ball well, and I've had to rely on passing, and I will go back to what I tell anybody. You start having to pass the ball, you'll start turning the ball over. And so it worries me. I'm not going to buy or sell myself, just like you said earlier on the Saints. But I think it's the Colts and Jaguars, and not knocking the other two teams unless, the Texans really turn it around. The Colts and Jaguars, it's going to come down to it. We play in 2 weeks. Should be one hell of a game. I have a lot of respect for Brady. I like him. I like playing against him. He's one of the most frustrating people to play against because he does play a really solid game. He kind of mirror images my team on offense. So it'll be interesting to see how this division works out.
31-19, bro. We're just going to leave it right there. 31-19. Let's move to the most mediocre division that the OMFL has ever seen. No one wants to win a game here. The AFC North. Are you buying or selling the Steelers at 2-2?
This, like I said, I think Jennings he's a solid owner. He's always played well. He kind of threw me for a loop this year. Like I said, when he traded Bell season 1, I think everybody kind of questioned him, especially traded him to the Eagles, who didn't need any help. And I think it's kind of came back to bite him a little bit. I know he's 2-2 and he's leading this division right now, but he's 25th in rushing. He really hadn't found a consistent runner this season. He's got Connor and Michael, who have 129 and 112 yards respectively through 4 games. I just don't. I can't buy him. This just like I said, it's no disrespect to the Steelers as much as I have respect for like the Bengals in this division. I think after starting out 0-2, he's won 2 games in a row. The Browns have won 2 games in a row. He's played phenomenal. I've watched him play probably the best game I've ever watched him play the other night. I can't remember. I think he might have played the Dolphins. And he won the game. Let's see here. To get this Arkansas internet faster. 47-29 against the Dolphins. That's the most points. I've always said if DBL could score some points. Chaotix can score some points. It'd be really scary. And he picked up Kareem Hunt, and last game he just ran all over the place. So it ought to be interesting to see what the Browns can do in that division. And I think the Ravens are a team that really fly on the radar. We talked about them last season. I thought they would be a team that would step forward this season and do it. But he's 1-4. He's kind of struggled coming out of the box. Like I say, he's negative 25-point differential, which if you look at this division in general, there's really nobody. I mean, 26-point positive for the Browns, 15-point positive for the Bengals, minus 25 for the Ravens, and a 1-point differential for the Steelers. None of these teams really just jump off paper. But if I had to, I'm not going to buy any, but I'm going to sell the Steelers. I think it's too wide open. I think you have 4 teams right here that could win this division. And we have the Bengals, who we know are a powerhouse team. And we have a Browns team that, if he can play like he did against the Dolphins, and I think Kevin would tell you that, there was nothing more frustrating to see Chaotix with a team that can score 40 points, and the way he is probably the best defensive guy we have in this league. That's a recipe for just a powerhouse. And we'll see if he can keep that up. I would love to see him keep it up, except when he plays me. But I'm going to have to sell the Steelers for this division.
Yep, I'm selling the Steelers as well. They are 1-2 on the road, a 1-point differential, 25 points for, 25 points against. That's not enough to make me buy you. I do think that one of these other teams are going to make a run. It's been amazing how we have not talked about the Bengals really this season. He's just had some bad luck, but I think they'll make a run. I think if Chaotic is going to make a run, it's going to happen this season or maybe next because he'll get a lot of time off of work. But yeah, I am selling the Steelers. I don't like the way that team is made up, and they have a lot to kind of prove to me. Let's go to the AFC West. You're going to start hearing my family in the background. I apologize, but this is real life. I don't have a studio to go sit in. The Kansas City Chiefs, 3-3, another super mediocre division here. Are you buying or selling the Chiefs?
Well, I mean, if you look over the seasons they've had so far, they're actually 3-3, but they're negative, if I'm not mistaken, negative 30 points and 32 in the point differential. They squeaked out a win against the Lions. They squeaked out a win against the Bears. The Jaguars beat them. The Colts beat them. They squeezed out a win against the Chargers, and the Raiders beat them. I think this is a team that the Sharks fan, he runs a whole different system. He does run his own little thing, but only scoring 16 points a game worries me because this division in general has always been known as a high-scoring division. The Raiders and the Broncos are 2 teams that just score crazy amounts of points. And the Chargers ought to be interesting to see how they show up with the new owner because they have a roster that's really scary. I said when Bill taking them over, that's a recipe. I don't know if he'll compete yet this season, especially with Phillip Rivers.
I agree, though. He has a chance.
And he has a chance, and he has a really, really, really good team. But I don't have to sell the Chiefs, and I think Sharks fans got a good thing going on here. He's got to show me more offensively. I'm going to have to sell him. I think this is another division, kind of like I said about the AFC North. I think it's wide open. I think you have 4 teams with the inclusion of Bill, and I think Smash the same way. I think Smash could have competed in this division. But with Bill and his defensive mindset, I think this division is wide open again, and I cannot buy the Chiefs at this point in the season. I just can't put my money on them yet.
Now, I'm with you. I got to sell them. I cannot buy a team that's negative 32 points in the hole. 16 points for, 21 points against. I know that you're in the lead right now, but I can't buy you. I think that, the Chargers, there's a lot of things that we could talk about. I'm going to keep it just buy or sell. I don't like the Chiefs makeup. Chuck's fan, I am a fan of him as a human. He is not active at all. I say that. It's not fair. He's not active like as in the chat. Nobody really knows him as a person. Look, he's been here for a little bit. That's who he is. He just kind of plays his games, and he's kind of Mr. Steady Eddie. But since about 3 or 4 seasons ago, whenever he went on a little bit of a run, he just hasn't been the same. And, he's in the lead early, but there's no way you can be 32-point differential in the hole and make a run here. It's just not going to happen. I just like some of these other teams too much. Let's move to the last one, the AFC East. Are you buying or selling the Patriots at 4-1 as they're the division leader?
This is a team that really worried me coming out of this season. I thought that they would come out and make a statement after they made such a strong run last year and made it to the AFC or the OMFL Bowl game. But if you look at their season so far, they squeezed out a win against the Browns. The Dolphins laid it to them 26-10, squeezed out a win again against the Jets, squeezed out a win against the Ravens, and they beat the Giants 27-10. I think he's got a great thing. I think he's trying to figure out the quarterback situation, and I think we would all have to figure it out if we lost a Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
So I think he's won 3 games in a row after kind of stumbling on the blocks. I'm gonna have to, and I know he's gonna. I just know he's 3-1 on the road. He's 4-1 total.
Yeah.
I know that he's gonna say that we're taking shots at him like he always does in the chat after this. But I'm gonna have to sell. And I'm just going to say that just because you got 2 teams nicking on your hips and the Dolphins and the Jets have shown life this season. I know he's given up 31 points a game. Clyde's better than that. Clyde will get this under thing. I think Clyde's finally getting some people in place. And we've seen Clyde before play when the bet. He's a really good owner. He's a really good guy on the sticks. And he can be a really scary team. And the Dolphins, and we've always talked about Kev. And I know Kev, and he once again, he'll let us know that we talk about him letting us down all the time. And he's let us down before, but he's playing really good football this season with his number 1 overall pick and quarterback. And the Bills, I know that the Bills have came out struggling. Bills are a team that I would really like to see succeed.
I don't understand it either. I mean, this is not a session of like fix the Bills, but like
right.
He is a good player and really put some things together at the end of last Madden, but it's been a struggle so far this season.
It has, and I know the Bills out of the box are not just a great team.
No.
I have to respect him he wants his Bills. He wants to build them up, and he had even said he had really dedicated, trying to run the ball, trying to, play good defense, run the ball, and not turn it over. Hey, that's a great recipe. Don't give up on it, and you'll find a niche that'll work for you. But I have to sell the Patriots just for the fact I want to see him figure it out. I know he's 4-1. I want to see him and the Dolphins play again. I think the Dolphins played him really scary well the first time they played. And I said, do not sleep on the Jets. Clyde is figuring it out, and that's a scary thing for the whole AFC East and for the AFC in general because he's a very good defensive owner. He knows how to score, but he's a team, and I know he's getting 31 points a game, but he is a team that really just can scare you when they get things together. So I'm going to tentatively sell the Patriots because there's no disrespect to the Patriots. I think they're a great team. I see him as a playoff team, but as in calling him for this division yet, I can't do it. I got to sell him right now for this division.
Yeah, I'm going to buy the Patriots. I do think that they were in the OMFL Bowl 80. Yes, he did lose his quarterback. I still think there are some things to figure out there, but he clearly is playing great defense again, only allowing 16 points a game. And when you do that, mix that in with a run game, you can win in this league. And yes, he's got to get a couple of things figured out, get that offense a little bit better. But I do think that they're the team that I trust the most here in season 81 just because of the Dolphins' track record of being hot and cold, losing games that he shouldn't, not being able to finish strong. The Bills just have not figured things out even remotely close. He's 65 points in the hole in a differential. And Jason and his Jets, though he's getting some things figured out, he hasn't proven that he can get them all figured out, right? And the Patriots are going to play you tough at home, and they're winning on the road, and they're the team that I have the most trust in. So I'm going to buy the Patriots as my division leader here in the OMFL. We're going to kind of skip owner-submitted questions. I did send out a reminder to everybody. I just don't have the time to be able to remind everybody every single week to submit those questions. They'll just need to be in by Thursday. We did get one in, but it just came in literally like 10 minutes ago, so there was no time to do any studying or looking or anything like that. So, yeah, we're going to skip that. There also is no outside of the OMFL update. The other guys did not send any updates. I know that the TFL is in the middle of their off-season. And I think maybe the OMFL 2 may also be in the middle of their offseason. They've had some new owners join them, so that's a really good thing. If you're looking for a good community, if you love what you see here in the OMFL, well, the only way to get here is to start in the OMFL 2 and just kind of show that you're going to be active and plugged in and a good owner that can follow the FPR here. But if you're looking for a very super quick active league, the NBC is going to be that. And if you're looking for a good all-around league that has good leadership, the TFL is going to be that. Just lots of offers and opportunities to play Madden. If you're looking for something, please check us out at our Join Us link and send in your application. But I do want to take the second, and we won't go much longer here, maybe another 5-10 minutes. We'll see how long this goes. But there's been something that, look, there's always this opportunity, right, where I'd like to just go on these rants. right, like to make these shows super entertaining. Like I just want to, be a normal radio show host and go on these rants, but and then I'm with Mr. Nice Guy, DWayne, who doesn't say a bad word about anybody except for his own team, and Dawson's just the super even kill guy, and then Maniac does some really amazing work with his other podcasts and bringing a lot of energy here to Press Pass Live. But there has been something that has been bothering me a lot, and there's a lot of work on my shoulders. We've had some board members that needed to step away or needed to take a break, whether it was real life or work or other things, and because of that, I've had to take on a lot of responsibilities that I've been able to let other people do, and I think because of that, I'm letting little things start to really agitate me. And this one you and I have talked about over the last couple of days, and that's going to be mainly around wins and losses. And this has always been a community that's not set up around wins and losses and really set up about the community, about the content. And yes, everyone loves to win. No one enjoys to lose, but we still try to create opportunities where even if you're not having a great season, you can still earn XP and do all kinds of stuff to build your team. Like this league, in my opinion, is set up as well as I've seen any Madden league for parity and for guys to get better at the game. And maybe we even do that every now and then. It's a time thing. I don't have time to cut and edit video, but I'd love to find some time maybe over the holidays to edit some video from some of the popular games and break down some film and really try to help the guys who struggle to look at things from a different technique and things like that. But my rant is the same rant that I kind of put myself on for last Madden, and that is guys who really mess with the experience of other owners because they themselves do not enjoy this Madden. I was not a fan of the last Madden. I tried my very best to make it work. I had to gut through it. There definitely were days where I was like, this sucks, and I don't understand why I waste my time doing this. Last Madden was extremely flawed, and I know that this Madden, in a lot of people's eyes, is even worse. I don't think it is. I'm not saying it's a perfect game. This is not an EA apologist. I do think it is a flawed game, but it is the game. And we have two options. You either want to play the game or you don't want to play the game. And if you say, well, I love the community, well, great. There's golf, there's WWE, there's 2K, there's H1Z1. Like, there's a zillion other options for you to stay in the community and play other games. But I'm really kind of tired of guys ruining other people's experiences. I'm finally, for the first time in like 6 seasons, able to have a pretty good season at 4-0-1. And I have yet to enjoy almost any game because there's always some kind of long rant from somebody every single night about how much you hate this game and about how much this game robs you. It seems like, I won't say everybody because it's not everybody, but there are definitely big games where after a win, it's like, good game, but this game sucks, and then this game did that, and this game did this. It's like there is never any head nod, appreciation, acknowledgement that the other guy also played the exact same game that you're playing and still figured out a way to make it work for him and play his scheme and get a win. And so they are like, when you say immediately after in chat, in a PM, a day later, how terrible this game is and how this game is so flawed and you can't understand it, it makes the other guy feel like he's done something cheap to win. And it ruins the fun for everybody then. No one can enjoy anything because people don't have the grace just to lose. And it's funny because it's not all of them, but it seems like often that some of our friends who complain the loudest whenever they're losing are also the quietest when they're winning. And it's like, well, why are you not complaining just as hard when you lose as when you, when you win as when you lose? I'm kind of tired of feeling like I've done something wrong in the middle of a game when I'm getting 6 PMs about how was that a fumble? How am I not getting pressure? How am I not doing this? And it's just like you're ruining the fun here, and I can't even, I feel like I'm doing something wrong by playing the exact same game that you're playing. as flawed or broken as it is, and I said this last year and I'll say it again, if you don't like the game, quit, leave. Like, find something else to do with your time, because I'm really tired of you sucking all the joy out of it for me, because I work harder than anyone else in this community, period, hands down. No one else can even compare, and I'm not saying that to boast. I'm just saying I do that on purpose because I want to create a community that people enjoy, and I think we have done that, and my track record has proven that over 22 years, but I'm damn tired of sucking it up for 9 losing seasons, and the 1 winning season I have, I can't even enjoy it because I got to go through 16 PMs about how much people hate this game. Every stupid feedback form has a 3 on it because people find something to complain about. Like, literally, I had a complaint come in that the guy ran too many twin formations. Well, I'm sorry, buddy, but there's nothing wrong with twin formations in the rules. There's no AI flaw about twin formations. Bunch formations, close formations, we can have a discussion about, but I'm kind of over the nitpicking and the grasping at straws and all of this other stuff that ruins people from enjoying a good season. And I just don't understand why it's so hard to say, hey, good game. You had the better team. You out-schemed me. You outplayed me. I didn't have it today. It wasn't my day. Instead of, oh, Madden hates me, and this is the worst game ever, and I don't understand why I don't play this game anymore. This is stupid. And I'm just kind of over all of that because it just absolutely ruins the fun and zaps the energy. I don't even know what my wife just said to me. I wasn't even listening to her. I was too busy on a rant. But I know that you've experienced that, and this is kind of how I want to close this rant off, is it always seems to be aimed at the guys who win consistently. Literally, you are one. We had some early things 20 years ago when you joined here, but you're one of the straightest FPR guys that I've played, and yet I still get feedback of 4s on you, right? He runs too much up the middle. Like, what? I literally had a feedback for him come the other day. He plays too much man. Wait, the easiest defense to probably beat in a game? You okay? What? Do you want him to blitz you every down? Let's talk about the real issues about guys stacking the box every damn first down. How about that one? Huh? How about stacking the box and blitzing every first down, or blitzing every second down? Or my favorite one, right? Let's do something 60, 70, 80% of the time in the first half, and now that I've got a lead, now I'm going to do other things so it kind of evens it out at the end of the day, and I think that's okay. That's not okay either. Guys are leaning on stuff, and I know that you have a whole entire rant that we can do next week about stacking the box. I'm over all of the crying. Crying is not a good word. That's... you guys are all adults, but just the constant complaints. I get it. You're hot, you lost, you don't like the game. Have your feelings, have your opinions, but either have them and move on, or quit playing the game, because the constant PMs and feedback forms in a negative manner are just absolutely draining me. And at 4-0-1, the best seasons I've had in a very, very long time, I can't even enjoy it because it's I have to dig through too many complaints just to get there.
Yeah, it is tough. I will say that it's especially for, and I'm not trying. But if you're successful, and like I said, I'm not taking shots at the successful, unsuccessful. Everybody here has had a grasp of some kind of success. But if you're successful, you're probably going to get some negative feedback. Most people do not like losing. Dawson used to tell me that he would wait, and which Nate just said, don't wait longer than 24 hours to leave your feedback forms.
My God, that's driving me nuts. And everybody got the messages, but for those of you, I get it. Everyone's busy. I totally understand. It's not a shot at you, but you guys don't know how overwhelming it is to get 15 feedback forms in 30 seconds, 10 of which need film watched. That just makes me want to close. That's too much work. I need this stuff as it happens.
Right, and like you said, it just Dawson used to say he'd calm down before he ever left feedback, and I think that you do need to evaluate. You know, I've gotten to where, and I've left some feedback where I've left it. You go back and look at it, and you're like, I guess I was just pissed off. I was just mad, and I just assumed that something wasn't right. And I try my best to go back and look after the game. A little bit, but if I would try to look over it again for the feedback, because like you said, man, Nate has pretty much took over the FPR. He has guys that watch tape for him, but you're going to sit there and watch, you know, it's an hour-long game. You're going to watch an hour-long game.
It's so much work.
Feedback. And which that's what makes this league great, is that we do have a fair play rule system. If you're not a good skills guy to a good skills guy, if it is, everybody has the same rules to play within. And I think that that's one thing that just makes this league great. I think everybody has the same chance, the same fair, outside of your starting box teams, you have the same chance as everybody else to win games. And I do think even on our worst day, we are better than 99% of the leagues when it comes to FPR and people doing stuff. And I think that speaks volumes that we still, you know, that we still ask that we get better at doing stuff. And I think Nate, you know, when he said that, as in, that's one of the things that I think is really overlooked. And I think guys, I hate to say people think they're slick, because that feels like I'm taking shots at people. But when you do run a first quarter, 2 quarters, and you're running very, very cheesy, very, very on the line or outside the line of rules, we see you venture back to the line in the second half. I've seen it called out. Like I said, this is my 3rd Madden to be here, and I've seen it. I remember back when Brady did FPR, when Chaotix ran the FPR strong, and now Nate handles it. And I've seen it just where we've seen it, and it doesn't go unnoticed. And, I always just say, you know, Nate used to have the eye thirst in the chat. He might still have eye thirst.
Oh, it's still there.
But I do think, guys, you need to look at that. Does winning really outweigh, you know, the community as a whole? And like Nate was saying, once again, does winning or if you're here just to win games, you're probably in the wrong community, because we're a lot tighter knit community than that. And I know people will tell me, hey, Dakota, it's easy when you had successful seasons the way you do, and it is a lot easier. But I'll tell you what, my first season here, I think it's my second season here, I had a 5-game losing streak in the season. I started out 5-0, we lost 5 straight games and some ugly games. And, you know, it's just one of the things. If I'd have gave up and kicked the bucket, then I probably wouldn't have. I would end up winning out the season and making the playoffs. We all go through some tough stretches. Like Nate said, this is probably his best start. Since I've been here, I think Nate's had a couple 4-1 starts, maybe 3-2, 4-1, something like that. He could just easily be 5-0 right now. But you got to take the good with the bad.
Yeah.
And when you play somebody, I'll tell you this, though, and I know guys might get frustrated at me. I have my phone next to me during the game. If you send me a message, I'll glance. If I see something, hey, can we pause it? I got something going on. Or, hey, can I use the restroom? I'll look at it. But if I see, first thing I see pop up is like, what the hell? How did that happen? You're not going to get nothing back from me. You're not going to get a response. I try my best. I'm not going to jump in your inbox during the game. Unless it's something outside of our realm, outside the game. I don't want somebody griping at me during the game.
No.
If we have a problem, we'll take care of it afterwards. And then Nate's what he's talking about, you know, if he has to see 20 messages pop up, he's enjoying a win. Hey, if you're winning the game the right way, you should be able to enjoy your win. I shouldn't have to hear somebody complain at me just because, hey, the Madden, I will say this, Madden is funny. Funny stuff happens. I laughed today. Me and Tim, we had a pass, and I know Nate had one happen earlier this season or in the last season, threw the ball down the field. My receiver tips it up. Fix me incomplete. My second receiver, Superman, dives out of nowhere and catches the ball.
Yeah.
And Tim was upset, and he came back next possession. He had the same thing to his guy. So, you know, it all comes back in. You know, Madden's going to work good for you sometimes, going to work bad for you sometimes. Everything's going to go your way sometimes. Nothing will go your way sometimes. You just have to just keep going through it, man. Nobody here wants anybody else to just have a horrible time here. I don't want to see nobody lose 16 games. I don't want nobody to have a bad season, but somebody's going to have a bad season. Guys, we just need to be positive. You need to be happy we're here. There's people knocking down the doors to come in this league. Yeah. People that have left this league and went to greener pastures, and guess what? Those greener pastures were not as green as they thought they were. They come back and the door is just not open. There's too many people waiting in line. And I'll tell you what, you have a good thing here, and I just hope guys do not take that for granted.
Yep. I think overall it's just the comments. Like, I get people are going to be frustrated. This is not, I don't even know the word I'm looking for. Look, I'm not going to censor every chat. I'm not telling people what to say. I'm just saying, like, let's keep in mind that whenever you make comments at a specific time, how that makes the other guy feel.
Right.
I rarely get a taste of that because I'm not usually winning, but the taste that I've gotten this season so far, I have not enjoyed it, and it's a shame because I think that there's so many people who are blinded by the flaws, and there are flaws that they don't see that there are some really good things about this game, and it can be enjoyable. And if it's not, then you just need to make a decision, right? This is for you or this is not for you. If it is for you, then do other things that you find joy doing, and let's just keep on moving forward, because there's just too many positive things that are happening for us to get bogged down into the negativity that can kind of take place. Next week on the show, we will talk about, DWayne's soapbox of 8 in the box, which has become an epidemic. My favorite are you guys out there, and you know who you are. I'll just let you know, if I play you, I go back and watch your last 2 films, and I keep a running document. So if I've played you, especially if you're in the NFC South, which I think is some of the cleanest football that we have, I have like several pages of different things that stick out in your games that I go back and watch. I don't always get to do that, but I try to go back and watch the last 2. So look, if there's anybody here that's going to pick up on something, I see your feedback forms. I've moved it this year to where if you get a negative feedback, I wait until I see it multiple times, or I see a bad number, like a 1, 2, or 3. Then we're watching film. If it's a 4, then I'm not going to watch film, and I won't even talk to you unless I see that same complaint by a different owner in another feedback form, and then you and I are going to have to talk. But you know who you are, right? My favorite guys are the ones that stack the box and run cover 2 zone and blitz all day. Like, those are my favorite 3 plays in the whole wide world. And yeah, I wish I could boot people immediately whenever I see them do that. I've played teams that, blitzes 3 times in a row, followed by a cover 2 zone. It just drives me insane. It's like, let's just play ball, man, and let's have fun. So next show, we will definitely talk about stacking the box, kind of why we feel like that's a good thing, bad thing, and all the things in between. But let's go ahead and put a bow on this show. I did tell my wife I was going to cook supper, so I'm going to go get cooking on supper here in just a second. As I can remind you, grownfolksoc.com is our website. Please go give us a follow. Let me pull up our YouTube page real quick, too. That's not what I want. What do I want? I want this right here. That's what I want. Okay, let me get this up. GrownFolksOC.com. That's our website. You can come here to the bottom or the top and hit Join Us, and you can send in your application. But we play a little bit of everything. There's all kinds of leagues. There are 4 really great Madden leagues here, but there are also people who play Red Dead, H1Z1, Grown Folks Wrestling Company, which is a big thing, the 2K League, the Soccer League, the Golf League. There's tons and tons and tons of stuff for you to do and get involved. So check out our website. Tons of great content that's out there. We may not be the Madden Ballers Club, or not the Madden Ballers, whatever the NBA, the Madden Ballers League that's out there, the Xbox. They are amazing, and they put out some really amazing content. We may not be them, but we do put out our fair share of content. Our Twitter, Grown Folks OC on Twitter. Make sure you give us a follow and give us a like on some of our content that goes out there. 644 follows, so we really appreciate that. But that's how we stay up to date with all the new content that's coming out. Grown Folks OC on Twitch. We also host a lot of streams on here, but you can go through and look at all of our past videos. Tons and tons and tons of content. Usually, if I am not on the microphone, I put it on Twitch. If I am on the microphone, it'll go on YouTube. So there is separate content everywhere, from to WWE to H1Z1 to Red Dead to Madden. It's kind of all over the place. And then, of course, our YouTube page, Grown Folks Online Community on YouTube. Tons of playlists, tons of content, lots of stuff that you'll like. Give us a follow, a like, and a subscribe. I do my very best that if you give us a follow or subscribe, I try to follow and subscribe to you right back. It's a fun little you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours type of deal that we do here. But lots of great things in the community. DWayne, go ahead and put a last little bow. We are in week 6. We're in week
6.
Yeah, we are. We're in week 6. That's right. Week 6 of season 81. Put a bow on this show.
I will say I was going to add to earlier, especially new owners, and I'm not calling out any new owners, but as a new owner who, I got in the doghouse my first season here. I played Nate.
The doghouse is a very, very harsh term.
I'm still on the FPR sheet as violations from 3 seasons ago, just so you don't know how far Nate goes. But I had it deserving so. I manually used their defensive lineman, and I ran 3 wide way too much. I still remember me trying to explain, thinking Nate wasn't understanding why I was running 3 wide. He understood fully why I was running 3 wide. But I grew from that. And I think, guys, you can also take this constructive criticism as I don't think anybody here is trying to be just a dick and come at you about FPR and stuff like that. But you do need to be able to take criticism, especially from guys, especially from Nate or a Maniac or a Chaotix or Colin or Dawson, somebody who's a board member or somebody who's been here, somebody who knows. Don't always take it as such negative. I just say that because I know when I think me and Dawson both have had conversations with Nate early on in our OMFL careers of stuff we need to fix, and I'd like to think that we fixed those and we moved on from that. And but I think we've had a great season so far. I think it's been some really good football. I think the disparity is a little wider this year. If you remember last season, I think after week 4 we have no undefeated teams left.
Yeah, and
I think you do have a few. I think we have 4 undefeated teams left in week 6. And I think it's going to be interesting to see how the season is because, like I said, a couple of the top teams from last year, Falcons, the Texans are kind of struggling out of the box. I hate to say, just looking down the road, that might open the door for somebody else for a playoff spot.
100%.
It'll be interesting to see how the season goes. And like I said, guys, it's early. If you're 0-4, you're 1-5, or whatever it is, season's not over yet. You can still turn around. You can still win. I'm a guy who, I will say this, if I was 0-9, I still play every game to win. I'm a moral victory guy. I would rather have the moral victory than a higher draft pick. Yeah. I just want to win. And I think, guys, even if you're having a down year, hey, you play to win. You just never know what happens. I think if you look it was 2 cycles ago, Mo went 2-14, and next season he's 14-2. I think Mo kind of slept on us for a season. But that just shows you how anything can happen here. You can have a bad year and turn back around and win an OMFL Bowl. I love the group of people that we have here. We have a very good core group. I have a bunch of friends. Hey, I probably say now I probably have more friends I talk to in our chats on here on Discord than I do in real life.
Yeah.
So it's, I enjoy it here. I love it here. And I hope these new guys really see and enjoy what they get here.
Yep. I agree. I mean, this is where I spend my free time. And the wife goes to bed early, and I give my free time to you guys, and this is where a lot of my friends are and stuff like that. I'll say this to close out. Look, emotions get the best of us sometimes, and I remember DWayne and I not seeing eye to eye, and even to the point I think we both had to are we okay? Yeah, I think we're okay. All right, let's just make sure. And DWayne is the nicest human that I think I've ever met. And a guy that if he lived closer, we'd be close buddies, right? And I was hoping to see him and Dawson when I was over in Memphis in 2 weeks, but that's a little too far, a little further from them than I thought it was. But I'll say that he and I had some disagreements around the kickoffs of all things. He won't admit it, but I think he kind of had a little scheme that he was doing, and I just one day. I had lost to him 14 straight times. I could not beat this guy to save my life. And I snapped about the kickoffs, right? Emotions happen, and I'm fine with people being emotional about a loss and even saying things that maybe you later regret. That is not what I was fired up about. It's the constant, every single day, every single loss, that stuff. DWayne and I not seeing eye to eye happened once or twice. Most of the time, though, we were completely good, except for the one time I beat him and he didn't talk to me for 3 days after that. Outside of that, though, we were good, right? And we didn't complain and we didn't yap. It's the guys who are just yapping constantly. That's got to quit. So, DWayne, thanks for joining me on a Friday. My wife is sitting here looking like Princess Leia with her hair all getting dyed up. I'm going to go cook supper, and then I'm off to a wedding first thing in the morning. So thanks for squeezing this in. I'm sorry to Dawson and Maniac. We missed you guys, man. Maniac is doing high school football with his son. I'm so happy for him that he gets to go and do that. Yeah, it sucks that we don't get to have him, but we'll get him whenever that's over. And he's going to enjoy some really great quality time watching his son, who's pretty successful in some high school football. And, well, Dawson just doesn't have his nuts because his wife has them in her purse and
Really?
makes them. No, I'm just kidding. We love you, Dawson, and hopefully the whole crew. My wife, as you can hear, is yapping right next to me. But hopefully we'll have the whole crew back together again for next time's show. I'll actually be doing that show on the road, maybe. I don't know. I may have to take my stuff with me. I may be on the road, but we'll see. We'll do a show. It'll be a whole lot of fun. So, DWayne, thanks for doing this on a Friday afternoon. We'll get this out to the guys. For those of you who watched live, thanks for tuning in. Give us some likes, some subscribes. Come play some games with us. We got all kinds of stuff. And, yeah, we'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great week. God bless. Peace.
Later, guys.